I tried to sue the airport because they misplaced my luggage.
Oh, do that now.
Yeah, I lost my case.
Really funny. Just, you know what? I'm not even going to spare any second. Just leave them with that. I'm just gonna smash a glass.
Here at the glass table, we're just like
I
you.
like to play football. I like to watch football, and I like to talk about football.
Yay! I like to play football and I like to watch football and I like to talk about football.
But we do things a little bit differently around here.
That could be a dream, Jared.
Stupid sexy.
Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the glass table. Therapy is now in session for one of us. The other one seems pretty happy. If you can guess which one, well, it shouldn't be that hard. But it's a new week. It's a fresh start. So don't pout your lip like that. You won by 80 points. Shut up. Doesn't matter. That was last week. We now record on Mondays, which means it's a new week. It's a fresh start, which means ka-chow, we're back. It's going to happen. You might have won by 80 points last week, Chief, but this week, there's one thing that happens there's three things that happen in life: death, taxes, and Port Adelaide bouncing back after an embarrassing loss.
Four things happen in life. They also beat St Kilda. That's another thing that goes with that.
Yeah, if Channel 7 decide to post a graphic that we've beaten St Kilda since like 2020 or whatever, we're done for. That won't happen.
It's just over.
And they posted something about us
It was
and
like last eight
Collingwood.
or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did it against Collingwood before or something. I can't remember what it was, but they posted it and we were doomed. So it's good. It's good to be back. Another weekend of footy, round 3 done, 4 rounds in the book, and yep, pretty much. I don't know how to sit on this one. How are you feeling, my friend, Jared Thomas?
Well, it's very, very good to be here, obviously. As you stated, it has been a better weekend football-wise for one of us than the other. But again, it was one of those ones where, it's one of those weekends, and I'm not taking this for granted because St Kilda don't have these weekends very often where we come out of a weekend beating a team by the amount that we probably should have. Like that never happens. It's never like we play a bad team. We always end up winning by like 3 goals and we scrap by. That's always the way it goes. So for us to win by 80 points on the weekend, I was like, finally, I come out with realistic expectations of how I wanted the game to go. And yeah, so it's more like a relief than anything else. It was, yeah, obviously nice to see among a weekend of really not weird results, kind of weird score lines I found, like across sort of the league. And just games where I was just like, man, this is like some of these teams are just real bad. Like some of these teams are not good and it's tough to watch.
Yeah, things, games like Essendon Port, and regardless of that result, that game should never be burnt onto a DVD, never should be allowed to be downloadable. That game should be burnt into no one's brain and forgotten about, including the result. So technically, we've only played 2 games for the year.
And you're 1-1. How good's that?
Happy days. Couldn't believe it. It was a terrible weekend. It was an interesting results weekend, as you said. The Dogs got up over the Blues. The Suns pumped the D's. Obviously, the Saners boys won by 80 points. The Brisbane Lions and the Hawks won in games that were very much similar in terms of comebacks, winning by a couple of goals. The Crows kept continuing doing their thing. And the only good thing that came out of West Coast weekend is the fingers at 9-minute mark of the first quarter. Oh, that was the only time they were pointing up.
What a bad game of football as well. My goodness. What's going on?
These Sunday things. Now, I'm going to get straight off the bat.
Yeah, go.
This is my little gripe because I'm an angry boy at the moment. And 99% of that might be due to the football club that I support, but we won't get into that. I've done enough damage on that. That's fine. It's done. It's a new week. See? Fresh start. Fresh start.
Or this way. Whichever way the frame goes, I forget every time.
I probably will forget to put it in, but that's okay.
I'm just saying that it'll be in the suggested on the side, I'm sure. So, yeah.
Probably will be. Nice talk to. Do you know what's funny? Before I get into my gripe, our grandparents aren't. They aren't people that know YouTube, or they don't know internet, right? And I saw them over the weekend, and I get the hellos and everything, and Nana comes up to me and goes, "Don't like when you swear." And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? She goes, "Yeah, we saw you on the internet the other day," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," and we watched you, and you were saying you had the shits on, and I was like, "What part of the internet were you watching?" You popped up on the YouTube, and we saw you. You were talking about Port and how they gave you the shits, and copying that from your grandmother 3 days after one of the losses that gave you the shits was. Look, it was quite funny. And, you talk about suggested and everything, and the algorithm works in a mysterious way. So for them, they like watching, crocheting and pot plant making. And it's not, I don't know where I fit in that category. And I don't know if pot plants and stuff give my nana the shits, but like this, the YouTube algorithm is a very funny place. So it's one of the more weirder scenarios where I've been recognized.
I like to think that she tried to type port she tried to type pot into YouTube, and she just accidentally flicked the R on the way through.
Look, that could be it.
Like port, and all of a sudden it was just Port Adelaide versus Essendon review, and she was like, "Oh, that looks like it." Then he banged. There it is.
What gets me is they watch me at 1:30 in the morning. What are you doing up?
Yeah.
I like to think they both fell asleep on the couch, and it's just ironic that I came up at 1:30 in the morning,
and they were just asleep,
screaming at them. They probably they probably recognized, going, "I've just said that this gives me the shits," and they've gone, "Oh, Anthony's on the screen." So
it's been a weekend.
That was the most positive part about the footballing weekend. But this was on the Sunday. This was probably the only good thing I saw on the Sunday, because football on the Sunday at the moment is just very. Why do I have to wait till 2:50 to watch a game?
Yeah,
and then it's crammed in. After that is a derby that's not even broadcasted in my state, but it's not until 6:00. Like, the fixtures are shambles. There's no free-to-air games, and Sunday games are starved of. We've had 2 out of the first 4 rounds. We've had 3 of them be blowouts. Both of them Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval against average sides for now, St Kilda average at the time. And then obviously the Giants against Collingwood in opening round, and then there was a thriller at the MCG between the Giants and Melbourne. So I know the Western Australians get that time slot every week, no matter what, but Sunday footy is not what Sunday footy used to be, and I don't like it. And I don't like the fact that the first 4 rounds of the year in particular are ruined by opening round buys.
Yeah.
Like that.
Everything looks weird right now. Everything looks so weird. There's games that are missing. It's just like here's the thing, right? If Freo and West Coast were good, I don't think I'd have as much of a problem with what's happening right now. The issue that I think I'm finding is that West Coast are still bad and Freo's okay. Like Freo's fine. And that's upsetting. And I literally, I'll go back 4 weeks, I reckon, and we were talking about the fixture to come. And I was like, I like these Sunday 6:20. I don't mind sitting, having dinner and watching. I take it all back. I was wrong, and I'm going to apologize. I was wrong. I don't like it. Games starting at 6:30 here are fucked. That's plain and simple. Plain and simple. It gets to 8:30. I am nearly passed out, and the game's like 3/4 time. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like,
why is it?
End it.
The last thing that I have to do on my weekend is sit there and watch the Rack Derby.
The Rack Derby.
Tell you what, don't endorse it, but I tell you what, if I needed to get through a derby, Would love to go to Rack Arena.
The rack is going to be the way to get through it. I know. Oh, boy.
Anyway, that's enough about that one. You know, we
Sunday
said
footy, it's just not good.
it off air that the irony that it's sponsored by Rack, Derby is very funny to us, especially the West Coast. So we'll take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you can all imply your own things there, but yeah.
Is this a new thing?
No, I think it's been not like
They have a shield. Did you know that? They have a shield with the sponsor, and it's so cool.
You know what? Right, I was about to say I think I did know that. I'm wrong. I didn't watch the end of the game. Who am I kidding?
They posted it. It was literally on West Coast. By the way, West Coast Post after the game to announce the result was piss funny. I'll read it out to you in a second. Let me get it. They also thanks their supporter base, which is very funny because at the 9-minute mark they all went "fuck you, West Coast" to themselves. So that was quite funny. Where do I find it here? Disappointing Rack Derby. Fremantle too strong was their quote. It is amazing. And the little shield in the corner, it's like grey. I don't know who's taking a mark or anything, but it's really cute. It's just
all about it. All about this graphic.
Someone did. I think it was the Sad Sainter did on TikTok that he went through all the graphics.
I did say
fantastic.
That. I saw that.
Great idea. Loved it. It's even funnier when they put so much effort into it and they put the scoreline. It's like a 60-point loss.
And it's horrible and it's amazing.
I've never made losing look so good.
I was literally going to say that as well because I love when a score graphic is really great, but the score and the caption is just awful. And like, it makes me think about that Sad Santa video where he posted one and he put the Saints one pretty high, which I think is pretty good. He put it high, but the scoreline was dreadful. But I'm just saying the scoreline was bad. And I know it was bad because I fucking posted it. I knew the scoreline was bad, but the score graphic looks really good. But it just makes it all look that little bit worse. And I'm like, oh man, that's funny. And especially when the caption is so just like full time, just final. It's amazing.
I to be honest, I don't know what clubs communicate. You could probably tell me a bit more, but I think the best thing to do is put just FT. Just put it there, send it out, and that's it. Close notifications. Port Adelaide do it perfectly. I swear there was 100 comments on their post within 20 minutes. This is X.
I can't remember what the Adelaide one was, but I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of final or full time or something like that, it's my favorite thing. And I love it. Obviously like when it's this close game, you get more sort of, like fought to the very end. It's like, yeah, fair enough kind of thing. But the full-time final, those ones, fantastic. Love them so much.
Yeah, I love a good-looking score graphic or just a game day post. Richmond's is very, very good every single week, regardless.
Richmond's
I love their game day.
Incredible this week. Richmond's was fantastic.
Love their Adelaide Oval one as well last week too. They're making some very stupid, sexy graphics at the moment.
Oh, good segue. Great segue.
Speaking of stupid, sexy, right? We have a segment.
Stupid, sexy
AFL player. Stupid, sexy AFL player. And who was your stupid, sexy player of the round or person or human being or anything in particular?
You go first because I have a segue from mine into another thing. So you can go first.
Normally a segue, you just don't announce it. So, but you could have
I'm announcing it anyway.
You could have just said, just go first, buck the trend.
Please, Anthony, you go first. Buck the trend.
You're a chirpy little fucker when you win, aren't you? Anyway, I'll continue on. Very grim reading. Saw this today, literally before we went on. And this will be a lot more relevant within 24 hours. And this bloke is playing ripper footy at the moment, despite his side being bang average and being 0-3. But I don't necessarily... It's him, but it's also what's presented in front of him for what could be at the end of the year. And Tom DeConey.
Oh, yes. Good.
Saints footy, 12 million over 7 years. Let me just do something for you. I'll just get the pen nice and warmed up, and I just want you to put TDC K right at the end of it, Chief. I think you might as well make your day down to a rabbin because that club at the moment that you're at, yeah,
Not good. Not good.
I think there's a lot more upside, considering the majority of the upside comes in your bank account. So you're my stupid sexy of round 3, and you could very well be walking away the stupid sexy player of the year if you walk away with 12 million too. Because tell you what,
If you
brother,
put 12 million by the end of the year, you can take whatever you want, mate. You can be anything.
cash in the bank is a lot more stupid sexy to people than they think. So
that's a fantastic pick. That is a fantastic
yeah, I was
pick.
struggling this week, but I thought, you know what, you're playing so good in a shit side. I've been there, done it before personally too. You know what I mean? It's just, it happens. I unfortunately wasn't offered 12 million in 7 years. I was more offered 12 beers in 7 hours, but that was about the only thing that came from that.
That's a low contract. That's a poor contract. You definitely could have got more out of that.
Pretty good for me at the time.
Agent.
The agent was the bartender.
That's fair enough then. That was working both sides. That's a great pick though. Yeah, not only is Tom De Koning going to be one of the richest players in the league if he signs this thing, and if Carlton are going the way they're going, he'll be wandering his way down the road in no time. But he is also playing incredible football.
Still think Carlton will finish out of St Kilda.
Yeah, probably. But for now, we can revel in it, the fact that they're not doing good.
But you know what? 12 million in 7 years signed in September will be the only thing he'll be doing in September. So
that's very true. Either way, whether it's Carlton,
I'll be joining you. Don't worry. I can make this shit myself. Miles Bergman also going to the Saints, probably.
And Lee Kalir. Apparently, everybody is. That's fine. We're all good.
Lee Kalir. That bloke is hard done by.
And took one of the greatest marks you're ever going to see on the weekend as well in the VFL.
That was stupid sexy. Honourable mention, Lee Kalir.
There you go. There's an honourable mention. But no, he's playing fantastic football. He is doing amazing. He's one of the best ruckmen in the comp right now. It feels weird to call him a ruckman because I know that he is. Like, I understand that he is, but he just doesn't play like it. Like, it's just not what he is.
He made Tim English speak another language the other night.
He's too good, Tom De Koning.
That's very funny.
He's
that got me. Tom De Koning makes ruckman speak another language, especially if they're Team English. So if there's ever a quote you need for this week, you can take it to the bank.
That's the one.
Stupid sexy bank.
Make a quote graphic out of it. Doing fantastic things.
Hey, mate, that's your job.
All right, we'll do it.
Maybe the little fucking head in the corner.
Oh, that's very good. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, who's yours?
Mine, as I was saying before, I'm not segueing. What do you mean? And you forgot about that when I said that. Mine.
Still can't get over Tim English speaking another language.
So that's what's filling the brain. You don't think about the fact that I said segue. Mine.
I amuse myself when we lose.
Got to find something.
You got to do that.
Mine this week is not a player, and it is something that I know that you also have found to be very, very appealing that has happened. And let me tell you, there are some benefits to us recording on a Monday now, and the benefits of the fact that teams on, the week restarts, people go back to the office and they get to releasing things, and they release things on social media, they release things in the stores, they release things for their fans. And the Sydney Swans today released something that I think, among all things that I've seen this year, might be really, really, really high up there. And it is the Sydney Swans Gather Around jumper. Now, for those that haven't seen it, it is all white with a red outline across the chest. That is the classic Swan Head / Opera House, whatever you think it is at the time. Just the outline. Yeah, just the outline, which also looks like a heartbeat monitor at the same time. They have released that all white, red number, white shorts. Sydney Swans, you cheeky devils. That's really good. It's a good looking jumper. Boy, oh boy, it is a good looking jumper. And that is my stupid sexy thing of the week, because good thing they released it today. And like I said, glad we're recording tonight because, man, that looks good.
It does. And this is the thing that we wanted to talk about, because not only have they gone white with white socks, love it, completed. Although I would have gone the red. I reckon the red would have complemented a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey,
Either
it
way.
doesn't matter. It's a gather round Guernsey. All clubs should be doing gather round Guernseys. Port Adelaide should have done their retro for gather round. It would have made a lot more sense. The Crows also released theirs after our recording last week, which maybe, I mean, they've had a lot of hits this year, but unfortunately the album sometimes just has a miss, and I thought it was a miss.
Really? Not a big fan.
There's a fine line, in my opinion, between a stealth and a training.
Yeah, this one leans too much towards training. I do agree with that.
They have their red one, which they use, which looks fantastic. They have their normal home Guernsey, which looks incredible as well. But if you're gonna do it, I wouldn't have had the colors. I would have just had the outline.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good, and then you leave the socks.
That's a stealth.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Like we said, stealth jumpers have become sort of a thing recently. The Giants one was the OG. Here's your stealth, and it is still, oh boy, it's still a good one. It is still a fantastic jumper. Carlton have also done a stealth one this year, like they've just got the outline, like the dark outline, really good as well.
Nothing beats the Gold Coast one.
The Gold Coast one is
hot pink or salmon, whatever you want to call it. Don't care. Hot. Took
Yeah,
West, his socks up, build a statue with him in that color.
Absolutely, a lot of gather round jumpers this year, and yes, this is what the segue that I was talking about before. In that we think every team should have their own gather round jumper, and I understand why some teams don't want to do it. You are going to a state with all our 18 teams, you want to be recognizable, and I understand that also. But also, just have some fun. Gather round's meant to be a fun festival of footy. Have a bit of fun with it. Make a jumper that's pretty cool. Saints did it. Love it. Awesome. Great stuff all around. Like you said, Port should be wearing their Lightning Bolt one in gather round, and I already know they're going to kill us in it, and that hurts. So
the other thing about the Port one as well, the black shorts with it.
Good stuff. But yes, my thing is the Sydney Swans jumper, stupid sexy. It's fantastic, and every team should have a gather round jumper.
I think so. And I think teams that don't have as big of a following, you mentioned it there. I'll be countering that. I know clubs will think, all right, marketing perspective, not that great, not our state, won't win. They might look at the game or where they're playing, some in the Barossa, some at Norwood, some getting the chance at the Adelaide Oval. Carlton West Coast stiffed with 12 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon as well, by the way.
See, at the start of the year, Carlton fans would look at that and been like, sick, fucking 10-goal win at Adelaide Oval, no worries. Now they're like, oh, shit.
Could be on 5.
Oh, boy.
But my thing is, if you want to talk marketing perspective, nothing is more approachable and more appealing to people that don't watch footy or don't understand the full generics of a club better than when you represent your club in a Guernsey that's not just... It's not going to be a home Guernsey. It's a gather-round. Like, this is
good looking
festival. What's appealing to people when they go to a music festival? It's not the fact they know what the lineup is what the song they hear in the background of themselves, or they might be line up for a drink, and all of a sudden they hear a song, and they're like, "Oh, who's that performing?" Blah blah, and they'll go watch, and then all of a sudden, you learn more songs, more albums, so forth. Same with the club. You see them playing at a Guernsey. We'll use Sydney for an example. They wear that and people are like, oh, shit, that looks pretty good. They end up winning or whatever. You catch a couple of eyes of the fans that don't normally attend games of footy. Next thing you know, they've bought some merch. They see you every home game or see you every time they come to Adelaide, and bang, bang, bang. All of a sudden you've attracted people. It's the marketing of gather round in itself. This is its own thing. And I know we're still a week away from it after round 4, but there is no negative, in my opinion, to having a Guernsey and dropping microphones on
it. Glad you saw that too.
That's a mic drop.
Before anything, that's our clip for the week. We'll just write that one down. Your analogy there about music festival and footy festival, fantastic. And I completely agree. You look good. People will be attracted to it. I know, and I know this is the case. Going to Adelaide Oval, people buy full day passes to be able to watch everybody. Teams they may not watch very often. They can be sitting at the Adelaide Oval and go, damn, that's a really cool jumper that I'm looking at right now. And, it's the Sydney one. And all of a sudden they attract all these new fans. People buy the merch, People will buy jumpers if they think they're cool. So I completely agree. Everyone should have a new jumper.
And that's that point. sometimes I think with that I feel validated, and this weekend I also felt validated because Adelaide just continued to come on their merry way. They might not have hit well with their gather round Guernsey, but let me tell you, if so God help you, if you're playing in the back line and you see Riley Thilthorpe, Darcy Fogarty, Taylor Walker, and I'll keep running through it, right? I kept making the list over the weekend. Ben Keys, Josh Rosselli, who's injured. I'm sorry to hear that. Isaac Rankin, but he's also playing the midfield. And then you've got Sid Draper coming off the bench, and you've got Alex Neil-Bullen. If you're an Adelaide fan, and I don't like you, but full credit, it's exciting. And whilst you might have only played North, and I'm sorry, but North Ball is now dead. You might have played St Kilda, who you're getting more validation from it
just a little bit
each week. You also played a very, very, very you're unfortunately getting validation from Essendon, which is just but you just sit there and you're like they are fun. I don't like
it.
I don't like it, no. But I also want to be fully recognisable of it because I can't believe we're walking to a week where Gold Coast versus Adelaide Saturday at 12:50 p.m. is game of the round.
Good game of footy. Great game of footy.
Ben King versus Riley Thilthorpe. Scary. The Giants playing their first game at home as well. Imagine they go through it the whole year, can't win at home, but they win away every week.
the reverse, the roles reverse this time around. Man, I'm so excited. That is like you said, it is game around fourth versus second. If you'd have told me at the start of last year, Gold Coast versus Adelaide was going to be fourth versus second, you'd be taking the piss. I do feel very, what do we say? Vadilated?
Vadilated.
I feel very vadilated, just so we're all aware as well. Me and Ant were workshopping that name for a while before this started. But I do feel very vadilated because I said Adelaide is scary. And we posted a clip on, during the week that Adelaide have, 6 gold medal chances. And, I was like exaggerating for effect. But there is 5 Adelaide players in the top 20 in the Coleman right now. And I just want to say, everybody, yeah, I told you so. And just very scary. Like their avenues to goal was so scary. And it's just Riley Thilthorpe wasn't even that good. Like he was all right on the weekend. And like obviously they kicked a few goals and stuff, but it took him a while to get into the game. He had a lot of drop, opportunities and stuff. Like if that's not even him at his best, oh man, that's terrifying.
I do like Kane Corns' point of saying I would kick 4 on Toby Pink, which Taylor Walker, Aiden Core, Luke McDonald, Charlie Comben. They're not. If it's a North weak link, it's their defence. Caleb Daniel is obviously just having all of the possessions down there, and I think it's the same with Adelaide because their defence is probably also their kryptonite because they've leaked 78 points again. North gave them a real challenge. They had 72 against St Kilda, and even against Essendon they leaked 100. So this is where I watch and see. Right, you're coming up against probably arguably the best forward in the comp, Ben King, now, leading the Coleman medal. And we can say that you're leading the Coleman medal after 4 rounds because it's a lot more validation, I think. And he's only played 2.
I was just about to say, he's only played 2 games. So what does that say about him?
So this is the one. This is I'll be 100% all in Adelaide win this week.
Yeah. See, I think I'm already all in on them. I think even if they lose this week, they're playing a strong Gold Coast in Gold Coast. It's a tough win for anybody. So I'm pretty all in on Adelaide. Like I said before the Essendon game, they needed something, they did, and then this week they're up against a team that was very up and about. And I did make the meme last night that North came crashing down to earth real fast as soon as they played competition that wasn't a flailing Melbourne, which was fun to see. But it's interesting because it also really validates my feelings because I'm like, hey, we just played a good Adelaide team. That's all. It's fine. It doesn't matter. And yeah, like you said, game of the round, Saturday, 12:30. It doesn't happen very often. And I'm very excited to see how it goes. And I'm just excited to just see it. Like, I just love to watch like I love to watch high scoring teams play. And like, man, the AFL must love that I said that because that's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for big 140 scores kind of thing. And there's just something about Adelaide that makes them so watchable. Like even on Sunday, all I wanted to do was nap during the day. All I wanted to do, but I just couldn't take my eyes away from the goddamn Adelaide on my screen. And I was like, guess we got to watch it. So I'm very intrigued to see how it goes.
It's also because you don't know how to nap anymore either. So that's,
Yeah, it's absolutely a problem.
yeah. So that's probably the other thing. So, but still, you felt validated.
I did feel very validated. I felt very validated all weekend and made me very happy.
Also the same with the Suns, because these are the two teams we're sitting here and go, all right, match of the round. You go Adelaide coming out, playing some ripping footy, looking fun. They look awesome. Gold Coast have played 2 games, and in each game they've looked promising. You know, they punished a West Coast outfit, punished a D's outfit, both away, haven't played at home as yet. The 2 games that were scheduled are against, where it was a bye, and obviously Essendon in an opening round. So we haven't seen what Gold Coast have.
Yep.
Adelaide have shown snippets against sides that were expecting the bottom 8. And now you come up against
2 genuine heavyweights. Some genuine heavyweights early, which is very, very exciting.
You mentioned the Coleman as well. You want to run through what you enjoyed about the Coleman?
Everybody, welcome to a thing that we're going to call this JTMZ. Usually if I find a thing that somebody said, there was one thing that relates to this. But after 4 rounds of footy, we have arguably the funniest top 12 in gold medal history. It's really funny. You look at the top 2 and you're like Nick Larkey and Ben King. Fair enough. 2 guys that, would have been on a few people's gold medal, probably top 5 favorites going into the year. Fair enough. Then Jack Higgins slots in at number 3. Now, I want to put this out there now, and this is where the JTMZ thing comes in. There was a thing that came out tonight on Agenda Setters, which is a show that I still haven't watched, about
we record when it's on.
But I'm pretty sure there's like 2 episodes a week. Anyway, doesn't matter. They put out a thing that was like a young talent time thing. It was Carlton and St Kilda. Carlton had 7 in like 26 and under young talent. St Kilda have like 12, right? And of course, this was a Carlton fan posting this, being like, "Oh, just picking and choosing, blah blah blah." And then somebody in the replies was like, "I can't believe they've included Jack Higgins in this list." Jack Higgins is 3rd in the Coleman medal, everybody. He has led the St Kilda goal kicking for the last 2 years. And it is about time somebody gives him some respect, because he has been good and has always been good. And he just hasn't been given the respect because he plays in a Ross Lyon team where we don't kick a lot of goals. And yet he still is that guy. And now that we're actually playing some free-flowing football, he's on the other end of it and kicking a lot of goals. He has kicked as many goals as Riley Thilthorpe and Darcy Fogarty, who everyone is like, oh my God, Coleman medal favourites. What about Jack Higgins? What about it? And finally, I'm hoping this year is the chance that he is able to get the recognition. But he's 3rd, and then obviously Thilthorpe and Fogarty, and then Paul Curtis is in there. Yeah, Tracy again, and then Dylan Moore's in there, and then my personal favourite of the bunch, which is just hilarious, in at number 9, Brody Kemp of the Carlton Football Club. Slotting into 9th on the Coleman medal list. Sam Darcy, fair enough. Seth Campbell riding off his backflip is in at 11, and Mason Wood in at 12.
Seth Campbell is everyone's new anytime goal scorer in their multi.
Oh man, he's a guarantee almost. He's a guarantee like a couple, to be honest. Like he'll kick a couple. And I think it's also because no one else for Richmond is going to kick goals. It's going to be him and it's going to be Tom Lynch, and that's it. Like that's all it's going to kick goals for him.
I love that there's small forwards in there though. Like we're wondering what the generic small forward's going to be. Jack Higgins, Paul Curtis, Seth Campbell, Ben Keys, Dylan Moore. They're all 7 goals or above early on, and it's enticing. So I'm glad there's a few small forwards in there. The Brody Kemp one is funny because 5 of those goals came on Friday night.
Such an outlier.
One of the more obscure 5 goals. We'll put the question out this week because we came up with it before, and we're quite actually proud of ourselves, to be honest. Like our throw performances out there, like Harley Bennell, 6 goals, 30 touches, breakout game. Brody Kemp's obviously, John Butcher's 6 kicks, 6 goals, which I think is the most viewed video on Port Adelaide's channel.
That checks out. And of course, the most famous one of them all, I think, in the Ben Ronk Sydney versus Hawthorn in front of 80,000.
Still my most favoured.
80,000 at the MCG. Ben Ronk just deciding, I'm going to take the piss, and then did approximately nothing afterwards, which is hilarious. So
fine line between, well, we were saying before, like fine line between your one-hit wonders like your Ben Ronks, or your standalone breakout game before you have a monstrous career. And it's quite funny how
Well,
it
I
ends
mean,
up.
it's sort of, perfectly. Obviously, we asked the question this week, and we'll get to that in a second. On, what's your sort of favorite breakout game where a player where know ends up becoming good was like, wow, like this is the game to be it. And then it's funny looking back and like remembering the time. Like I brought up, I remember Jack Billings in his first year, came back from Saints came back from 9 goals down against the Dogs, and Billings kicked 4. And I was like, we picked him at pick 3. Famously, his famous pick 3 because we picked him for Bont. But I was like, man, we got it right. I was like, Jack Billings is flying, and then nothing. So
It's a perfect segue into around the glass table.
it is absolutely. Which
We're all about segues tonight.
which, as we said, was what is your favorite breakout game? We had a lot of Port ones this week. If you want to run through a couple Port ones that you know of and that you obviously heard from, and we saw a few to the response to this one, because Port had a couple as we found out.
Yeah, Port had a lot of breakout, and Warren Treadway in 1998 at Icon Park, kicking 7 goals in teal socks was his breakout. And the best part about the breakout game for Treaders was the fact that in that same game dislocated his kneecap.
Didn't know that.
So I think that's breakout game and added
breakout knee. Yeah.
You breakout knee. Oh God. Popped onto the scene, some would say.
Fantastic. But that is a classic Port one, like you said, that a few people brought up, and one that I want to bring up that is a pair one.
Got kneecapped.
Good Lord.
I'm sending him a text later.
One that I do want to bring up is
you up still thinking about your kneecap.
Still thinking about 1998 and your kneecap.
Your teal socks.
Oh God.
Anyway, continue.
So one Port one that I remember very fondly, and you could call it a breakout game, but it was also, I think it was just also like he'd sort of been known he was good, but this one in my mind was amazing. Zach Butters round 10, 2023 versus this game. He was good, and he'd been good to start the year as well. But I remember watching this game, 41 disposals and 2 goals, and I remember watching being like, man, he might be one of the best players in the comp. I reckon I could go back and find this. There will be a clip of us talking about it after this game, being like, he might be the best player in the comp.
It was the same game that Jason Horne-Francis had that pickup.
One of the greatest pickups of all time. Yeah, that was exactly what I was about to think of. So I think there's a clip somewhere of us talking about how good Zach Butters was that day, because yes, you were right. He was incredible. I remember this kick that he had on the outside of his boot, and I was like, holy
Hit
goodness.
Dylan Williams on the chest.
Yeah. And I went, he might be it. That might be the man.
God, do we miss him now?
Missing him severely, I think. But that's one that I remember fondly. Are there any others that you remember?
Yeah, there's another one here from Renee, who is probably our number one top fan, which is always lovely to see. Otherwise, he got a couple of reimbursements as well. Chad Wingard, showdown round 19, 2013. So we kicked 5 goals. We came back from 20 points down with 6 minutes to go to win the last of the game at Amy Stadium, which was, I remember being there, and I just remember not only did we witness a great comeback in a showdown, it was so surreal, but yeah, Wingard, all Australian that year. Yeah. It was just electric in a season where Port. Yeah, you remember when Port was good?
Don't have to think back that far. They were pretty good last year, but yes.
The Port fan now, you sort of develop yourself into a point where you don't remember the good times. You don't remember the times you were shit. The problem is they come a little bit more regularly.
Please don't say that to a St Kilda fan. You're looking at 59 years of shit times.
God, you look good for 59 years.
Not good.
But yeah, no, obviously, I think people would say very similar. We obviously had a lot of poor comments, but I think of other games, like you talk about breakout games. We talk about, like even over the weekend, you look at Caleb Sarong, who's 24 years of age, and he's having a yearly edition of winning the medal of the best on ground.
Ridiculous against West Coast for just reasons I can't explain.
Well, every player has a bunny team.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to actually watch it like happen in real time. Like you look at it and you're like, it's just like, and some teams just have bunny teams like overall, but you talk about
it's ending. Like I'm telling you, like you don't have to bring it up. I know you're our bunny.
I was more talking about us and Geelong, but that works too.
Like it's gonna end, okay? You know it's gonna end. Essendon was our bunny side. All of a sudden pissed off. We had Gold Coast last year, had beaten them for about 12 years. Lost.
It's fun, but
a firework.
See, breakout ones that I thought of, and I used them as the examples. Obviously, Sam Darcy last year against Collingwood was amazing. It was under the lid at Marvel, and he kicked like 4 and was just incredible. That was
Mason Cox against Richmond.
Yeah, Mason Cox against Richmond, breakout game. Jack Ginnivan against Essendon in the Anzac Day game. But I also used a photo of Paddy Cripps because I just remember, and I wouldn't even call it a breakout game. Pretty sure he was All-Australian by this point. And he might have nearly been captaining the side by this point. But there is a game that I remember, and it's when Carlton were bad, and Paddy Cripps had like 37 touches and 19 clearances. I think it was against the Crows on the G, like Saturday, 4:20. Game that nobody watched or was at. And Paddy Cripps put together one of the best performances of all time. And I went, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good footballer.
Yeah.
And he was. So, how do you know?
Yeah. I think a lot of... I think when we talk about, like, even Will Ashcroft, I would say, is the earliest example, and winning a Norm Smith. You know, I think he was very, very good on the weekend too.
It was good on the weekend.
Very much keen to watch him and his brother play for years to come as well. But yeah, it was very interesting. I kind of think, like, we talk about like breakout games and everything, even like clubs breakout wins.
Yeah.
When we talk about the Hawks last year, we talk about
it was us. Saints Hawthorn, they beat us they were 0-5 and then they won 5 after beating us and then barely lost for the rest of the year. Let's do the year.
So we blame you
for everything that's happening right now. Yeah.
Oh, write that one down. Also on the weekend, talk about breakout games. Jesus, I feel so sorry for the Rising Star panel.
Oh man, so many. Just everybody was good.
You know, that is a segue I did not plan either. That was very good by me.
Very well done. Yes.
Ant breakout segue performance.
Add it to the list. Great breakout performances.
Nab Rising Star Anthony. Oh, sorry, I was still live. Yeah, I know Harvey Langford. Harvey Langford got it on the weekend, and he was very, very good. The criteria has to be so specific picking these because there was about so many good performances by the kids over the weekend, but they all ended losing sides.
I was going to say, Moraes was fantastic and then lost it. I mean, like looking like Richmond-wise, they got smashed, but like Jacob Blight was really good. I thought even in a team that was getting thumped, Jacob Blight was pretty good. A lot of young guys doing a lot. And they just couldn't quite get him over the line, which you don't expect them to, but like tough week to be a Rising Star selector because they were copping it. They were copping some good stuff.
Like it's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like even
it was difficult.
And then the players that are subs.
Sardell Hawley had a good little cameo.
Sid Draper kicked a couple of goals coming on, and that bloke's been sub every game this year so far. Like even I know we saw Harvey Langford get it, but even we saw Isaiah Dudley come on, kick a couple of goals, and he wasn't sub, but he was very exciting.
Matthew Johnson, like just guys being good, just dudes being like
Murphy
young
Reid.
kids know what they need to. Yeah, Murphy Reid again, who has put together a really strong start to his career. Like, just great stuff. Like you look at, and then again, like you look at criteria in terms of teams losing, but Hugo Garcia is still eligible as a Saint, and he was fantastic on the weekend. Obviously, Jack Steele was a laid out, and Hugo Garcia was fantastic, but he probably just got overshadowed by the fact that Roel Marshall did everything and Jack Sinclair had 40 touches. So it's kind of like Rising Star just like has to be like, well, he wasn't in probably the top 3 on the ground, so we can't give it to him. It was just wild. Everyone young decided, yeah, we're gonna have.
I think
good
I
games.
think Harry Boyd should get a nomination for staying out of the side.
For his one game, and then his
Yeah,
emergency
because
role.
Ross has realised, let's just have Rowan do his thing.
Hey, Rowan should probably be the starting ruck, I think.
So I would play Harry Boyd this week because nothing screams a great matchup like Harry Boyd versus Ivan Soldo.
Ivan Soldo has had 4 touches total for the year. Yeah, look, it's great fun to watch. I love the massively crazy idea that so many people, so many Saints fans forgot about in that, hey guys, Rowan Marshall's probably been a top 3 or 4 ruckman in the
Best
league.
ruckman in the comp the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's probably been in the top 3 or 4 for the last 4 of them, really. And at the start of the year, every single Saints fan was like, put him forward. And then we put him forward and he wasn't good. And we put him back in the ruck and he's been in our best 3 the last
Still kicking goals anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, guys, how about we just let the really good ruckman be the really good ruckman? And look what's happened, you know? Like, it's crazy stuff, I know. Like, really wild thoughts happening. But maybe we just let him do what he needs to do.
Hey, Ken. Can I just get you on the phone real quick? It doesn't work for every club.
You need to have a really good ruck.
Take Soldo out. Cheers, Ant. Anyway, just sort of get that off my chest. Because do you remember when Port Adelaide were good? They had one ruckman. It's not 2004 again where you could have Dean Brogan and Brendan Lade, Brendan Lade was generally a fantastic forward, one of the best kicks in the comp. Go in, pinch in the ruck, and take the piss out half the comp. Solo can't do that.
See, you're pitching right now. What you have just said is the perfect pitch for Tom de Koning to go to Moorabbin. Imagine he gets to just play full forward.
No.
He gets to play full forward, and then he pinch hits in the ruck for a little bit, and then Rowan plays forward.
It's scary.
He touches the middle. That's what I'm saying. You put those two in the same team, and people are like being like, "Oh, if they get Tom de Koning, that means Rowan Marshall's going to get traded." No, he's not. They'll just play together. It's fine. They can play together. We've got the money for it.
Tom de Koning, Rowan Marshall.
Oh.
Dougal Howard.
Oh yeah, my guy. I actually can't wait for him to come back. I miss him so much. But this team is scary, and yeah, it's that you've just presented the perfect pitch. You've presented the 2004 Port Premiership team as a fantastic pitch for Tom de Koning to come to Moorabbin next year.
I've got nothing further to add to that.
I'm just very excited about it. I think it'd be very fun. Well, I'm also sick of people talking about Rowan Marshall getting traded. It's not happening.
Realised it became a St Kilda podcast.
I just thought about it then when I said that. I went, that's wrong. People are wrong.
Yeah, well, can't win them all, can you, JT? Anyway, guess we should just tip round 4.
See, round 4, but the fifth weekend of footy. I hate opening rounds so much. It's just gonna piss me off forever.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, I will.
I know you will.
Fucking hate opening rounds.
Speaking of tipping and getting things wrong and getting things right, I guess you should get the tips and everyone can show us your tips and everything like that. All of that fun content and funny jokes that I'll make because tipping's fun. Top 3, top 4 I'll do because it's pretty even at the top at the moment. Baz's Ruse continues to dominate. Shout out to Nathan, who got, and this isn't my Nathan, he sucked on the weekend apparently. Nato got to 8, which was the highest, and his margin was only 6. So if I go to what he got wrong, he got what did he get wrong on the weekend? He tipped he got every single one right because it was only 8 games. Forgot about that. So well done, Nato. Got full on. So a shout out to you.
Okay.
JT can do a shout out to you this week for getting all the tips right, and if he remembers. But
I'll remember. We'll do it. And
Good.
then I want to give a shout out to a guy that was right up the top towards the start of this round and has had a real poor tipping week. And I'm looking at Fraser C, aka Flag Blues 24, who was sitting pretty, and could have been really up with the big hitters, and he got 3 this round. Got 3 this round, and I'm looking at why he's tipped the Tigers in a decision that I just can't quite understand.
Has he didn't put his tips in?
Is that what's happened?
Yeah.
The grey.
Yeah, he didn't put his tips in.
And it hasn't gone good for him because, it gave him the Tigers, the Giants, North, the Cats, and, Port.
Same with Patrick C. Didn't put his tips in, or Charlie P. Fish and Cripper didn't put his tips in, and everyone else put their tips in, which is incredible. So that's very, very good. It says on the bottom of the tipping graphic, put your tips in.
Put your tips in
capital letters.
Yep.
Don't know how much more I can spell it. But anyway, the top 4 at the moment, Baz is still sitting on top. He's a name that will be read out, I reckon, for the whole year. Nato with his 8 comes in with his 21 and a good margin as well. Kate 816, got 6 on the weekend, so dropped a bit, but still got a nice amount. And Huntzilla Killer FC, Scotty T with 7, got 21 total as well, sitting top forward. Tyson, my man, won a cricket flag on the weekend. Dodgers.
Still had time to get 6 tips right. Well played.
Still got his tips in. I reckon he tipped a few in as well. Also, still going strong on the margin too. So, yes, plenty of tips going around at the moment, JT. But we shall put our round 4s in and start with Thursday night, Collingwood Carlton. A Thursday night game for Collingwood Carlton in a game where I don't think anything could happen.
I was very tempted to use my lock for this one. I'm not going to, but I was very tempted about it because there is just no way that Carlton win this game, as my laptop decides to make a noise as we roll our way into.
Well, I think it's a sign it's a lock.
I'm not going to do it because...
Have you locked you in? Lock in a Collingwood.
knowing Carlton...
The glass table's millionaire.
Knowing Carlton, they win this game. I said this last week, but I still tip the Dogs, and I'm going to say it again anyway, and I'm going to tip the Pies, but... we talk about bunny teams. We're talking about teams that, that just can't beat certain teams. Carlton cannot beat Collingwood. It doesn't happen. So Collingwood's going to win this one Thursday night at the G. Would have been a massive crowd, but Carlton's been bad. So still be a good crowd. Still be a pretty strong attendance there. Annoying it's on a Thursday. Probably should be the Friday game. But anyway.
Good God, after just looking at the Friday game, no. No.
Another shit Thursday night one that would have been.
No.
No, I am tipping Collingwood and I am tipping them by 27 points.
Yeah, same. Tipping the Pies. We'll tip them by 17. Still think it'll be a close game. Be one of those ones where Carlton starts strong, but the Pies run over the top.
Yeah.
It's just going to be one of those good, fathomable things. Friday night should be probably arguably one of the easiest to tip down at GMHBA. Hate a Friday night at GMHBA, Jared. Don't like it. It's terrible. So I don't know what you're looking for.
I'm trying to look for a lock.
Oh, this is your lock?
Yep.
Cool.
Cats are doing it.
Oh, I thought you were going to put tip the D's.
It's my lock.
I was going to put them as my lock, but I've already had the Cats as a lock this year, so I don't particularly want to. Just realised you're also having a beer, which I didn't realise.
You've been having a beer this whole time.
Could have told me. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm tipping the Cats too. Suns, Crows.
Oh, boy.
Game of the round.
Yeah.
Nothing better than game of the round being at 12:50 on a Saturday where local footy starts and no one can watch it.
Just a real shit show. Firstly, like looking at just the odds here, 215 for Adelaide seems like pretty good money. I don't know what the line is there, but that seems pretty good.
Cover them.
Yeah, cover them. This one's going to be really good and really, really fun. I love both of these teams in terms of what they're doing. I just think Gold Coast are a little bit more well-rounded. We spoke about Adelaide's leaky defense. Gold Coast obviously don't have Ballard anymore, which is a loss. But we also saw on the weekend that they can still perform really, really well. So Gold Coast for me. I just think their midfield is really strong. We used Matt Rowell as our super sexy graphic today. It was fantastic. Noah Anderson, we know what he can do. They've got players playing incredible games. Bailey Humphrey, your man, dominating football games. Ben King, as we know. So I'm going to tip the Suns.
He's old enough to be in the fantasy team now.
I was going to say he's good now. He's not young anymore.
He's primed. Tipping the Lions against the Tigers.
Yeah.
A lot of these games are pretty predictable, to be honest. Swans against North should be a good game at Marvel, but
this one might be all right. This one might be okay.
It'll be a lot closer than people think, but I think North have. I think they're going to be locked in this year as that team that they did it at the back end of last year where they were really really okay.
They were really okay.
Get the wins.
They were really okay.
Right.
Yeah, they were
right. They're that 11th to 15th team. That's what they're going to be this year. They'll be competitive. They'll be good. Games like this, they'll be a little bit more unpredictable, but the Swans will win.
I reckon this is going to be my upset this week. I'm going to tip North. Again. Tipped them round 1 and they lost. Didn't tip them round 2 and they won. Didn't tip them last week. They lost.
If Sydney lose this game, they will not play finals this year.
There's a fucking bang right there. Find that clip if North win.
That's my own lock in itself. Yep. If Sydney lose this game, they will not play finals this year. They come up against Collingwood in gather round. They have to win this game.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I just think North at Marvel are pretty good. They're a solid team. I'm going to North.
Giants to beat the Eagles.
Yeah, it's a guarantee. That would have been my lock if I didn't lock the Cats in.
I'm going to do the last game before the the JANT Cup.
Yep.
As we call it. I think I'll do that one last. We're going to have a little bit of a cheeky, a bit longer on it. So, Freo Dogs.
Interesting as well.
Who are you tipping? I've just changed my tip.
I think Freo are better than their performances have shown. I think they needed to beat the Eagles to get a bit of confidence in themselves, and they've sort of shown a lot of talent. Sarong sort of bringing himself into it. Brachel's still being really good. Jackson was really good on the weekend. I'm gonna tip Freo. I think the Dogs are still missing a few key components. So I'm gonna go the Dockers because I just think that it's gonna be a little bit better than the Dogs.
I don't mind that. I've changed my tip, and I'm actually going to go with the Dogs. I think the way they played on the weekend, second half was really, really good. I think Freo's sort of in that unknown category like Carlton at the moment. And I think the Dogs are a little bit better than what they should be, which means they've got so much more they can improve on. So I'm tipping them with the Bont potentially coming back for gather round as well. Very interesting.
I am not going to. I think I just saw a notification come through that Bont is not back for gather round.
Never mind.
7 AFL Cleary Mitch 27 minutes ago while we're recording. Mark Spontapelli ruled out of gather round.
I'm still tipping the Dogs. This is gather round.
Not gather round yet anyway.
My lock, by the way, was the Giants.
Yep, fair enough. Checks out.
Which against the Eagles, if that's not a lock, then
could be an ugly game.
Yeah, that's Jesse Hogan kicking 8 right there. Ryan Marriage pretty good last week, though.
Yes, he was. That's Giants versus Essendon, that late year game a couple of years ago where Essendon were like almost in finals, and then Jesse Hogan kicked like 9. They won by like 120 points.
Yeah, now he's respected and good.
So now it's fine.
And lastly is the Power taking on the Saints in the JANT Cup, where Port Adelaide have only one good thing going for them this week. And this will be the sole reason we win, whether it's by 1 point or 80.
Ka-chow. Wait, hang on. That's the jumper you're wearing. Pause. We might be wearing this one. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I think that'll be the most aesthetically pleasing game of football
I
to
was
watch
about to
purely
say,
on
teal
Guernseys.
versus pure red. How good does that look?
Like, that's just going to look hot.
I was going to say, hang on. I've got the candy stripe somewhere. Or this, maybe. Who knows? Either way, whichever
I
one
think
it
it'll
is.
be the other one.
I think it'll be the other one too.
Hope it's that one. Is that this year's or?
No, this is a couple years ago.
Oh.
I don't know what year it is, but no.
You know, you could have done your own little background there with Port's Guernsey.
Go football.
Yeah. Anyone that's seen the background from a couple of years ago, you'll know where. I fit into that. Don't know if I do now, but
it worked.
your man's a couple of years older and probably a couple of kilos heavier.
Aren't we all?
Yep. Adelaide Oval, 250. Glad to see there's 3 games on a Sunday. Who's your tip?
Oh, boy.
This generally is the hardest one to tip, in my opinion.
This one is really tough because you're looking at it. Port at the Adelaide Oval are obviously very, very good. Saints at the Adelaide Oval aren't very good. However, form coming into the game, Saints have got that.
This is going to be like Cairns all over again, isn't it?
I feel like it's going to be a horrible game of football. No, it won't. I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it'll be a good game. I almost make it like a rule to not tip the Saints to the Adelaide Oval because we just don't win there. And we don't beat Port. Like that's just another thing that we don't do. I just think
current weather situation for Sunday is 22 degrees and a possible shower or 2.
Cairns.
Nah, that's not Cairns.
Not quite.
Cairns is cyclone.
35 and 100 mil of rain. Yeah, look. This one's interesting. I've tipped against St Kilda a lot this year already.
I feel like you can have confidence going in.
I was about to say, I think I'm gonna go for us this time. I think I'm gonna tip the Saints this time because
Is there a chance to get us? It's this week.
And yeah, kind of like Porter sort of down on confidence, still missing Butters, obviously.
Wow. I read
Maybe
over the weekend that he might be very well 90% this week, which knowing Port Adelaide, he could be 60%.
I was going to say, do you roll him out at 90% though?
If it's not this week, he's definitely back for gather round.
I was going to say, I feel like you might just save it. Well, I mean, I hope you save it. But I feel like you might because, like, you could... If you roll him out and you still lose, then your season's probably cooked. Whereas if you lose, but you haven't risked him and then he's back full strength the week after, you can still save it from there.
I think losing regardless. That's if you've just painted the picture. The result is if we lose, you're 1-3 going into a gather round game against the Hawks, which is no longer painted.
I forgot against all, to be fair.
This for Port Adelaide is a must-win game.
Mm.
There's no other question about it. The way we played against a snapshotting, set-shotting Draper last week and his teammates were diabolical. The fact that we led every game, led majority of the game, and then the last quarter got run over, showed us the 5-day break. The thing that's the benefit for us is a 10-day break coming into this. And little niggles, Miles Bergman had a little hamstring tightness. He'll play. I think a couple of others will be back this week. I don't think Soldo play. I think we have Finlayson, which up forward is a lot more damaging and a lot more pressing. I think if I'm right, Lockie Jones will be back, which is just a lot more structurally better for our defence, even though he doesn't know how to mark sometimes. But if there's hope, it's 2 things for Port Adelaide this week. It's the bounce back and the 10-day break. And this.
And that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm tipping Port. And
Fair
you're
enough.
tipping the Saints.
Yeah,
Hello. Port at home. This was at Marvel. Actually, no, we'd probably win.
I was gonna say you like Marvel. Marvel's okay.
Not anymore. But it's against you, which we just know. I hope it pisses down. I want to see a 44-43 game in Cairns where we scrape it across the line. 25,000 people at the Adelaide Oval screaming wet, and we're just celebrating the worst win of all time. BT in the commentary box is screaming his young lungs out, saying, "This is one of the worst, best wins ever. Oh boy, wowee." And the winning point is by none other than a rush behind that skimmed off the back of a punch in the contest. There's no Robbie Gray point from the boundary line. There's nothing spectacular about it. This is just a hat kick forward by, give me a name that's bang average. Who's playing poorly at the moment? Nah, stuff it. It'll be someone good, like Kane Farrell from 80 metres out.
Jackson Mead from the wing, you know?
Nah, it's the second game. It'll be Tommy Cochran from the sub bench. He's just socketed off the ground. And it's 5:15:45 to 5:13:43. The win that galvanizes the season.
The one that brings it all back together.
I'll be hungover.
At least you give yourself a bit of a chance to recover before the game. At least it's not the early one. I suppose that's a good thing.
The more enticing piece is down at Lonsdale Football Club. Lonsdale versus St. Paul's, Saturday afternoon, round 1. Your big, bustly key forward and me walking alongside him. At centre half forward.
Kicking a few and having some fun.
Need some tips, Jeremy Finlayson. You know where to be.
I'm very excited for it all. I'm very excited for the full weekend of footy. I'm never confident going to the Adelaide Oval, but this is the one time where I might be like, maybe. As long as if it stays dry, maybe. If it rains even a little bit, I think we're cooked. our whole game plan relies on slick football skills, and the rain doesn't exactly do very well with that. It's why we're elite under the roof, because man,
what happened in round 1?
Test footy. Adelaide.
You got validated.
Validated I am now, because they are good. And the result means that they were just good. We weren't that bad. They were just really good.
I hate the fact that we aren't even closely, remotely good. This used to be my most confident thing. Coming in on Monday, recording with you and just giving you shit is my fun thing. But now I can't do that.
Well, yes, anyway. It's still an early season.
If we win the flag.
That's what we wanted.
And the flag, it just says JANT Cup on it.
Which we are fighting for once again this year.
Can't wait for it. Been fun. Round 3 done, round 4 to come. Hey, that rhymes.
And we're excited to do it.
We'll see you all in Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely we will.
Yeah, we'll fly over with JT. Come to... Depends what you want to see. You want to see Port versus the Saints? Or the Saints versus Lonsdale? Either way, I've got no ending to this, really. I don't know what to say. Follow us on the socials. The power might be out, but that's just because there's a bit of lightning.